Hello friends, this is Sai Fanindra from SQL School. I assure you complete practice oriented classes completely into live real world environment. Very much useful for number 1, your job work, number 2, interviews, number 3, certification. Come on, let's get started. Let's understand what is Azure DevOps and how to get started implementing those techniques in this vast beautiful technology. So in our class today we shall be understanding this demo lecture, introduction lecture, will be understanding what is DevOps, and before that what is software development lifecycle called SDLC. We shall be understanding different phases of SDLC and the need for DevOps, one of the preferred implementation methods for SDLC, Software Development Lifecycle. And before we proceed with this great technology DevOps, let's understand what is included in our DevOps course. Yes, in our courses diagram, DevOps is listed in other courses. Reason, it has to do something, it has some business to do with every color you see on the screen. Really, SQL programmers can use DevOps, MSBI developers and MSBI consultants can make use of DevOps. Even Power BI, part of our course, we have Power BI integration to DevOps, data engineering integration to DevOps, part of our course. We have one chapter each, one for green and one chapter for BI, one for data engineer. And even SQL admins can also make use of DevOps, because one of our classes we have DevOps server. Sorry, two different chapters. We have DevOps server. That Azure DevOps server requires SQL server. Mandatory. So keeping those dependencies in mind, the prerequisite for this Azure DevOps course, we need to have knowledge on any one development or ETL or BI technology or a DBA technology, preferably SQL server related or Microsoft related if possible. Like for example, you are already working as a SQL developer or a BI developer or a consultant or a ETL engineer or a Azure engineer, then this Azure DevOps course would be your next level, understanding the different implementation concepts. If in case you are very new to software, then I prefer you get into SQL server first. The basics should be okay, SQL server, TSQL basics, and then get into DevOps. And what we are going to learn here right from the scratch, we have Azure DevOps introduction. We'll be starting right from the scratch, assuming yes, we are very new to DevOps in general and new to Azure DevOps in particular. We'll take it from the scratch, introduction and life cycle with Azure DevOps phases, different phases of Azure DevOps implementation like continuous integrations, continuous deployments, testing, etc. Then we'll be understanding about organizations and security aspects technically, practically with examples. We shall be understanding DevOps projects and boards with basic work items and Azure board activities like this. Then slowly we'll be understanding the Azure boards with backlog, sprints, etc. So agile work item process activities, agile and basic or different kinds of projects available in DevOps. In Azure DevOps, you work with something called as projects. There are 4 different types of projects. We have basic, we have agile, CMMI, and Scrum. We shall be understanding these 4 different variants, 4 different varieties of process implementation. Understand their comparisons and limitations and work with inherited, I mean a reusable and mixing kind of activity, customized process orientations, security implementations, reports. As a DevOps engineer, we are responsible for reporting various items like who is doing what work was assigned to whom, etc. Or what work items are pending and which work items are of high priority, least priority, something like that. And we need to understand repositories. Here comes the concept of Visual Studio tool and something else called Git, G-I-T, Git tool. We have got TORTOISE Git, general Git activities, etc. We'll be taking it in our course. In this useful technical journey, vast journey, we'll be understanding various kinds of code storage, source code storage techniques with repos, repositories, branching and commits, clones, checkouts, etc. And we'll continue to understand about Visual Studio operations useful for SQL developers and MSBI developers, including Azure data engineers. We'll be understanding about continuous integrations and continuous deployments with release pipeline activities, CI/CD activities. We have Azure and Power BI integrations. For Azure data analysts, this chapter 16 will be very much useful. And we have containerizations, Dockers and Kubernetes containerizations, and DevOps server configurations and uses. And further, we will be having complete guidance towards AGILE 400 certification. So here are the course plans. You may opt for only the Azure DevOps part, the on-demand video training, same as the live online, same curriculum, same concepts with chapter-wise mock tests and complete solutions. The live or on-demand video, the same process, no difference at all. The same notes will be used and same examples, same pattern of learning. And my support always for regular doubts and clarifications, either for live or on-demand videos, the same process for doubts, clarifications. And further, we are into these online trainings as well as on-demand video trainings. So sessions would be in such a clear, clarity way wherein we have minimal or no doubts arised. Reason, every point to be clearly specified throughout the course. Yes, a lengthy course, chapter-wise content, chapter-wise notes with good amount of FAQs for every chapter, every concept. And we go in a slow pace, step by step, with the complete documentation for every example. Either it is live or video, either of them. Further, for every chapter, we have common questions and answers so that it will reduce, it will minimize the amount of doubts that might be arise during the course. But that being said, I am always available, happy to guide you further for your learning process. Completely into practice mode, no second thought. And in case If you are new to Power BI or if you are new to Azure, just understand those techniques, terminology, that should be fine. Okay, with this information, back to our course curriculum. So you may opt for only DevOps or with the data engineer more into ETL activities, or additionally add Power BI to your resume for more chances of scrutiny and more chances of getting or selling our resume for a better price. They're all interrelated with each other, and that integration is more important, more interesting in our classes. Now, what exactly we are going to learn in this course? Yes, we are completely into the SDLC process, software development lifecycle process, that we need to concentrate. Right from planning a project, designing the required code for the project, implementing it in various styles, testing each of the implementation techniques, and proceed for maintenance activities. So the software development life cycle involves these 5 different phases. And as a part of these implementations, we shall go for continuous integrations, continuous deliveries, continuous deployment activities with automated and manual approvals from one phase to another phase. The entire end-to-end process implementation we need to learn in our course. Well, with this information, our prerequisite, the course prerequisites, to get the best out of this course, practicing every chapter. Okay, we need, friends, we need our personal computer with SQL Server 2017 or 19 and SSMS installed. Remaining installations, yes, part of our course. Remaining installations, part of our course. Make sure you have SQL Server and SSMS installed. The DevOps server that we are going to work with in our course has something to do with SQL Server, SSMS, and Visual Studio. The repos we call repositories and pipelines, continuous integration, continuous development, CI/CD pipelines also has something to do with Visual Studio and Git tools, including other tools we need to work in our course. And Azure account I'll be guiding you, friends. My duty, I'll be guiding you carefully on how to get into Azure right from the scratch with Azure DevOps and other accounts. It's free, no credit card required here. However, if you would like to explore more on Azure portal for Active Directory creation, Active Directory account registration, or any other type of Azure resources or Azure components, credit card is a recommended one for this box only. Add-on, optional. For our main DevOps environment, credit card validations are not required. We can straight get into dev.azure.com and register with our regular email address. However, for additional practice, to buzz more keywords into our resume, better to have Microsoft Azure portal account that needs a credit card to activate your free trial, and that's optional always. Well, so credit card optional but recommended. Additionally, yes, you require 4 GB RAM minimum and 8 gig disk space minimum. Observe carefully. Observe carefully, yes. With this information, if you are new to SQL Server, then please install these components. Here it is. So 2019 or any other edition, and SSMS tool. Have a look at it. Okay. With this information, we understood now the physical computer prerequisites from your end. For DevOps, credit card not required. Portal credit card optional, good recommended practice. Next step. Apart from this, yes, either live or on demand video, the same process. Let's have a small overview introduction on what is DevOps. DevOps, a combination of development and operations. Dev plus operations. Operations involves implementation and maintenance activities. So here we come across something called SDLC, the software development lifecycle, right from analysis to design, implementations, implementing each of the requirements, testing each of the implementations, deployments and maintenance activities. Okay, now advantages. Provides a standardized framework that defines activities and deliverables. So improves project planning and estimating and project tracking easier. And we have increased visibility for all aspects of life cycle process, increases speed of development, improves client relations, and decreases the project risks. And also have project management expenses. We have this implementation of SDLC in 3 different ways, 3 different techniques. Waterfall. The waterfall method was a really nice, great technology, great methodology, a age-old methodology, older methodology, simple and straightforward, wherein we start from feasibility and requirement analysis to design, coding, testing, and maintenance. But if something goes wrong, or in case you would like to edit, modify a particular code, we need to again go back from the start. So here it is. Design, coding, and testing, the sequential approach. There is no integrated practical approach. So testing was done only after complete development. If a client has any feedback, it would take longer time and also costs money to rebuild the entire application, because sequential, it continues. Just like a construction site, there is no rollback in constructions. Demolish the structure or the part of the structure as applicable. So the project should be very, very carefully planned and prototyped. Best method to follow if the client knew exactly what they wanted without any changes in between. They're guaranteed no change board, no changes to the requirement. Then came agile software development. Incremental approach. Developers and customers have nice rapport here in agile. They sit together, they develop the things together, get the feedback, and finally go for consolidation and testing activities. The customer feedback is really nice in agile, because developers will be interacting directly with the customers. It welcomes making changes, but at great expense. Of course, there is some cost involved here. nice ability to scale, and continuous attention to technical excellence and good designs from the customer perspective. But it's costly. To address these items, we have the concept of DevOps. Yes, DevOps is a process. Brings development, operation teams into one single communication stage. So testers will know what is being developed, developer will know what has to be tested and how. Customers know what is going on in the project and how long they have to wait to get the actual deliverables. Everything would be transparent. So DevOps basically includes development team, infra team, test team, system admins, engineers, and analytics. So based on these team members and their responsibilities, our course starts from the scratch on what is DevOps and the life cycle phase of DevOps, and slowly continue with different life cycles you see on the screen, right from the coding phase, code, build, test, release, deploy, operate, monitor, and again planning phase. We got different phases, different purpose, different tools and techniques, and we'll be focusing on the Azure DevOps technique specifically. With this information, I assure you complete practice-oriented classes for this beautiful, vast, useful Azure DevOps course. Any clarifications, please do reach me on this number, preferably during Indian lunchtime, Indian dinner time, truly speaking, okay? I'll be free during that time, but you can even contact on LinkedIn or through email to our team. Anything is fine. Happy to help you, happy to guide you. It's my duty. With this information, stop for today and looking forward for your sync up, initial sync up or the course registration, etc. Thank you very much. Have a nice time and do use me for your doubts and clarifications. Happy at your reach. Thank you very much. Have a nice time.